was amazing. Right. Hello, everyone. Um, Welcome, and thank you for joining us on a really warm and beautiful spring day. My name is Krutika. I use she, her pronouns, and I am thrilled to be sharing my work with my amazing and super talented classmates and friends. And so today, I would just like to invite you all into a conversation. And I often like to begin my presentations by grounding us in a quote. And today, I have one from Katie Cannon, which reads, "Our bodies are the texts that carry the memories, and therefore, remembering is no less than reincarnation." So, today I'll be talking to you about issues around health equity, access to healthcare, and quality of life for individuals identifying as women. The World Health Organization defines quality of life as an individual's perception of their position in life in the context of the culture and value systems in which they live, and in relation to their goals, expectations, standards, and concerns. Now, that felt a bit wordy, but insufficient at the same time. I reflected on this and thought about that, probably the most important definition of quality of life should perhaps be the one that a patient provides while sitting across from their doctor. So, one such condition that severely affects the quality of life of 1 in 10 women in the US is PCOS, or polycystic ovary syndrome, which is a hormonal and metabolic condition. The numbers are estimated to be much higher because 70% of individuals do go undiagnosed. PCOS is a leading cause of infertility in women, and about 50% of these individuals will become diabetic before the age of 40. This condition also has other comorbidities such as endometrial cancer, cardiovascular diseases, anxiety and depression, and much more. The numbers are on the rise, and the economic burden of this condition is estimated at $8 billion annually. Despite the discovery of this condition almost 90 years ago, currently there is no FDA-approved cure or cause for this condition. So while these are just some facts and figures, when I conducted my research, I discovered some emerging themes that affected an individual on a range from social to personal relationships. Socially, an individual may experience isolation because of the stigma and shame associated with this condition. Further, the care delivery is extremely fragmented, and on an individual level, a person faces tough challenges such as body dysmorphia and eating disorders. Now, for a minute, I want you to imagine that you are a plant in a desert trying to survive. Your resources are limited, and you are in isolation. Rainwater is scarce, and it is always hot and dry. That is what PCOS feels like, to always try and survive in conditions that don't support growth and nourishment. But there's always a response. Human bodies, like plants, adapt and evolve. The PCOS experience is similar. The body has to learn to find ways to thrive even in the harshest conditions. If I had to describe PCOS, it is like a cactus. Prickly, oddly shaped, hard to touch, painful, but also resilient and strong. And I know this experience well enough because I am the 1 in 10 women living with this condition for the last 13 years. To better understand the stakeholders involved, I mapped the ecosystem of care delivery for PCOS, which involves support on an individual, provider, and community level. An individual navigating the healthcare system in the US may face several challenges, from identifying needs to connecting to support. When a system is broken, how might we find ways to heal? To explore this thought further, I decided to focus on the significance of social relationships and how community support can help these individuals. The question I wanted to address with my thesis was, how might we co-create a dialogue that empowers individuals with PCOS to advocate for their needs in social and civic spaces? This work has been in collaboration with my community partner, PCOS Challenge, the largest nonprofit dedicated to PCOS in the US based out of Atlanta, Georgia. They work at the intersection of healthcare providers, receivers, civic systems, research, and development. With them, I conducted 3 key research initiatives, which included stakeholder mapping, qualitative interviews, and co-design workshops. On this journey, I have had many learnings. I have learned about the importance of community and amplifying the voices of that community members. I decided to focus on a subset of the population within this space. One are the empowered super advocates who have been leading a patient driven movement, and then there's the newly diagnosed individuals who are looking for support. The following slide shares the voices of these folks. These co creators helped shed light on some key emotions and actions surrounding this cause. Reassurance, advocacy, social support, and care were some themes that repeatedly showed up in these conversations. At this point of reflection, I wanted to go deeper into the themes of empowerment, confidence, and advocacy. And which brings me to this quote by Shirley Chisholm that reads, "If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair." I explored the theme of advocacy. What did that look like in health and civic spaces? This definition felt the closest. Identifying, embracing, and promoting a cause. Advocacy can influence public opinion as well as public policy. I sat with that definition and decided to map what advocacy could look like on a scale of relationships again. Looking at these axes of relationship to self and relationship to others versus activities that require internal reflection and activities that require external collaboration, I mapped a set of tools that could aid this journey into healing. I designed tools for advocacy at the self, peer, and legislative levels. And with that, I'd like to introduce my intervention, Seasons of Cysterhood. Seasons of Cysterhood is about discovering moments of transformation and healing through PCOS advocacy, storytelling, and relationships. The concept is a metaphor for how our bodies go through different seasons, and that every season demands a different way to adapt. From the foods we eat to the relationships we hold close, how might we thrive in each season? The intervention currently has two parts to it. Tools for self-advocacy and for legislative advocacy that I intend to develop further. The self-advocacy part helps an individual connect with their identity as a PCOS patient and empowers them to claim their narrative as an advocate. The legislative advocacy tool talks about the impact of community action in health policy. It is an educational piece that invites the reader into the legislative process and guides them to take action through activities such as writing a letter to your local legislation. This tool will be further developed alongside my community partner for promoting PCOS advocacy at the state and federal levels. Finally, this intervention aims to create conditions for growth for individuals with PCOS through empowerment, care, and nourishment. And it really creates this space for time and reflection and for engaging in community action so that we may be able to thrive and grow even in the harshest conditions and contribute to the desert in nourishing ways. And so, I'd like to leave you with one last thought. Spring has just begun here in the Northern Hemisphere, but what season does it feel like in your mind and body? Thank you.